And we're back with Richard Reviews. Today we're reviewing a book for richardreviews.com/Griffin Chestnut here on YouTube. Today's piece that Richard will be reviewing for us is, of course, The Culture Playbook by Daniel Coyle. This is the New York Times bestselling author of The Culture Code. So this, of course, is the follow-up of The Culture Code. This is 60 highly effective actions to help your group succeed. So this is, in theory, a overall self-help book in terms aimed a little bit towards managers or supervisors in the work field or anywhere academically. The Cultural Code is another piece that Daniel Coyle put out. And Richard read that one and he enjoyed it. He has the link. You can check his Richard's official review in the description down below, and he wrote all about that also on his blog, which is also in the description down below. As for this is an advanced screening copy, advanced uncorrected proof, which is not even on sale yet. The only way you can read this is to be part of a premium subscription policy package, to be a very premium member, and Richard holds that title. As he mentions, especially since the recent stuff that's going on in the huge part of the academic world. So Richard does find time to not only watch decent movies, but listen to good shows and a decent amount of podcasts. You can try to mimic these features in the white face with the alternate surrounded black shud. Kind of looks like a headdress, but obviously the details have been applied and twisted in a way where it was never meant to be overdriven. But the alternative is, of course, a big log of ants. Now, Adam, who gave the appropriate screening of this, gave it to Richard, and he was currently in New York City at the time visiting the Statue of Liberty. Statue of Liberty is one of Richard's favorite places to go and read. He was tormented there in 1992 before he took upon the church in his private residence in upstate New York. Richard obtained this piece post 2014, and this piece was sent to him mainly because of his review of the Culture Code, which is uploaded on his YouTube channel, and his review gained a lot of views and a lot of traction. Daniel Coyle's team obviously saw that, and it's assumed that since Richard liked this one so much, that he would like the new piece that Daniel Coyle is putting out. Unfortunately for Mr. Daniel Coyle, this piece fell short. Fell really short. So short. He doesn't understand the linguistics behind it, and he doesn't even think that Mr. Daniel Coyle understands the linguistics behind it. Unfortunately for Mr. Daniel Coyle, this is going to be the last piece that Richard is reviewing by him. He actually will be donating this to the proper funding library by Richard's cabin in upstate New York. Hopefully, Richard feels that it may do a little better up there. Who knows? This piece is a lot of fluff with maybe 2 or 3 pages of very small, unadulterated dairy product help. Now, there are effective ways to help your group that are in this. Richard can't find them, so he doesn't even know if they're in this. Daniel Coyle was cocky enough to send this piece to Richard's house momentarily. Richard read this entire piece, thought it was so bad he threw it in the dumpster. It was then retrieved by Richard's sister, the milk sister, and Richard also threw out the Culture Code as well. He felt that it no longer needed or deserved a spot in his artillery, biblical, and literary collection. On the field, the book stands. Now, as for its permanent place and residence, that question is unknown. As you can tell, this piece is a self-help book, and it's very tiny, soft cover, great condition, of course, because it was sent and hand-delivered to Richard himself by a publicist of Daniel Coyle himself. But not much to articulate. This is, of course, a unfinished piece, as you can tell. On sale on this date, which hasn't occurred yet, and we do have a price on the back, $24, which is insanely overpriced. I mean, I don't understand what the publishing corporation were thinking in terms of making this a formulative corresponding epilogue from such a diabolical and embarrassingly chatter technology. The benefits. Very, very appropriate. These are supposed to help you in a more direct way, and the illustrations are not only horribly done, but make you feel like you're reading a American version of a comic book, which is embarrassing to the author and to the reader at the same time. There is nothing more alternative and effective than the technology that Richard has at his church. And Richard is not even a religious person. He considers himself agnostic, but especially after reading such field manuals as this, there really is a show to his performance as a beautiful man. And Richard holds pieces like this dear to his heart. He considers this not only a bad book, but a waste of trees. And this could ultimately have provided a hiker room to sleep at night in the woods, or a few owls to find a nursery for their obligation confirmation. This piece brings nothing to the table. Richard doesn't want anything to do with it. He doesn't even want to touch it. Richard is very particular about his paranormal society. And the influence that Richard has on these pieces is extremely high. So Richard imagines people want to hear his at least abstruse opinion and what he can restore and produce over the years. When you're as highly respected as Richard, you understand that the people such as Daniel Coyle, who send you artifacts and advanced, uncorrected proofs, not only want you to give them a good review, but they sort of buy your opinion so that other people buy your piece. Richard does not agree with this. In fact, that act alone took down points, and it was a biased interpretation of this book before Richard even opened up the first page. This is a bad piece. Richard will not be continuing any more preemptive, advanced, uncorrected proofs because he considers his opinion on the customer a biased one, and a biased one at that. For all Richard's Patreon followers and subscribers, he hopes that you consider his opinion very likely, and once you see the real footage in the news, you'll understand that his opinion is, of course, found in store credit. So, thank you for taking a part of the Culture Playbook by Daniel Coyle, and these are appropriately and inappropriately 60 highly effective actions to help your group succeed, which Richard felt that maybe there were one or two that were low actions you could have found in a Sam Harris book about free will, or a Robert Sapolsky book about biology, but anything of the nature except for this. So, this is an official Richard review on richardreviews.com/GriffinChestnut, here on YouTube, the Cultural Playbook, 60 highly effective actions to help your group succeed or not succeed? You be the judge, by Daniel Cowell, New York Times bestselling author of The Culture Code, which Richard also threw in the dumpster. Thank you and goodbye.